I didn't learn this lesson from a book. I learned it by living through it. For a long time, I believed that if you support people, if you believe in them, encourage them, lift them up, they'll want to see you win too. That feels logical, fair, almost obvious. But reality doesn't always work like that, because sometimes the people you lift up end up being the first ones to push you down. And when it happens, it's confusing, it hurts, and it makes you question yourself. You start asking, did I do something wrong? Did I change? Why does it feel like my growth bothers them? Here's what I've learned. When you lift someone up, you don't just give them support, you give them a mirror. You show them what's possible. You show them movement, effort, progress. And if they're not ready to face their own stagnation, your growth becomes uncomfortable. Not because you're arrogant, not because you're doing better than them, but because you're doing something they've been avoiding. Your confidence becomes comparison. Your discipline becomes pressure. Your success becomes a reminder. And for some people, that reminder feels like a threat. So instead of growing with you, they try to bring you back down to where they feel safe. And they rarely do it openly. It's subtle. They joke about your goals. They question your decisions. They downplay your wins. They say things like, don't get your hopes up. Be realistic. You've changed. But what they really mean is, your growth makes me uncomfortable. This isn't always jealousy in the obvious sense. It's not always hatred. Most of the time, it's insecurity trying to protect itself. People build their identity around being enough as they are. And when someone close to them starts evolving, it quietly challenges that identity. It forces a question they don't want to answer. If they can change, why haven't I? And instead of facing that question, it's easier to resist you, to minimize you, to pull you back. That's why some people only support you as long as you don't outgrow the version of yourself that made them comfortable. And realizing this is painful, because these are often people you care about, friends, family, people you genuinely wanted to see succeed. You didn't lift them up with an agenda. You did it because that's who you are. So when they respond with distance or doubt, it feels like betrayal. But here's the shift that changed everything for me. It's not your job to shrink so others don't feel insecure. And it's not your responsibility to stop growing just so you can stay relatable. Growth changes dynamics. That doesn't mean growth is wrong. It just means not everyone is meant to come with you. Some people are meant to be chapters, not lifelong companions. They serve a role at a certain stage of your life, and when you move forward, that role expires. That doesn't make them bad people, and it doesn't make you ungrateful. It just means you're evolving. And here's something important. Pay attention to who celebrates you quietly versus who tolerates you loudly. Pay attention to who feels inspired by your growth and who feels threatened by it. Because the people who truly belong in your next chapter won't need you to stay small to feel secure. They won't compete with your progress. They won't question your ambition. They won't punish you for becoming more. They'll grow with you or cheer from the sidelines without resentment. And if someone can't do either, that's information, painful information, but valuable. So if you've ever felt like the people you helped the most ended up doubting you the loudest, this is your reminder. You didn't imagine it. You didn't change for the worse. You didn't outgrow them out of arrogance. You outgrew a dynamic that required you to stay small. And that's something to respect.